Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania, preparing for my upcoming trip to South Africa. And the garbage that comes out of members of the African National Congress, the ruling members, just never ends. The Minister of Minerals and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, is the latest, gave an exclusive interview this week to News 24 from Naspers. And what he has to say is absolutely mind-boggling, and it beggars the imagination. Basically, he's saying, I'll sum it up for you very quickly, then we'll get into the details of it, that the ANC does bear some of the blame for the debacle that is Eskom and the fact that the country is struggling to get basic services like power. Some of the blame? How about all of the blame? 28 years of malfeasance, corruption, misjudgment, and a lack of strategic vision all combined to cause this crisis. But he also says that opposition political parties bear some of the responsibility too, because they want the grid to fail. So let me get this right. So the reason that people don't have 23,750 megawatts of commercial power, which apparently represents, based on your current capacity, 59% of your generating capacity in the country, is a little bit because of the ANC, and also because opposition parties don't want there to be power. Okay, let me try this very quickly here, folks. Let's see if this works. I want a Lamborghini, No, it doesn't work. You can't simply want or wish things to happen and be responsible for it. That's ludicrous, unbelievable. But let's get into the details of what he said in this exclusive interview with News 24. He's not only the Minerals and Energy Minister, but also the ANC chairperson. As I mentioned, 59% of the baseload generation is offline, necessitating stage 6, but many people are actually in stage 8, 12 to 14 hours of no power. And some people around the country have had no power for 72 hours as stretches. Now, this is an often overlooked part of what's going to happen with energy. And it's because it's a few years down the road. But if in fact the laws and regulations that are in place now remain in place with this ludicrous just energy transformation that South Africa is adhering to lick the boots of European greens and North American greens, 13,000 megawatts of coal-fired power stations will have to be shut down by 2035. So you're already down 23,700 megawatts. That would make 36,000. There'd be virtually no commercial power in South Africa, and there will not be alternative energy in place. Where's the money coming from? Eskom is burning every rand of cash it has now to buy diesel just to keep the grid from collapsing. Now, this is the worst part about this interview with the News 24 reporter. And number one, he's condescending to the reporter. That's nothing. But this is the most important and disgusting, vile thing. Back to the race hustling. Once again, back to the race hustling. This is a quote from Gwede Mantashe. Now, I always accuse some of the people of always looking for Bantu to blame, the Bantu to blame and criticize. Excuse me? Let me translate for my international audience. When you say Bantu, he means Black South Africans. So Gwede Mantashe is complaining that people want to blame Black South Africans because they're Black. That is abhorrent. It's disgusting and vile. No one said Black South Africans. We said the African National Congress. The African National Congress is not Black. I know that in the last 20 years, your party has done its best to chase whites, Indians, and colors away from your party with your racist policies, discriminated against them in the workplace, in government tenders. But that doesn't make the ANC Black. It makes it a party that's supposed to represent all South Africans. You race hustlers are the ones that always resort to racist nonsense. Now, when he was accused by the reporter of being slow in responding, adding generating capacity, because not a single kilowatt of national grid power has been added to the grid in the time he's been the minister. He said, I don't know what is slow because I don't build power stations. I don't build power stations? Of course you don't build power stations. You're a minister. We never expected you to build power stations. I never expect to see Gwede Mantashe on a loader out there in an earth grader, lowering the soil, digging up the soil, laying cables, pouring concrete. No, what a moronic statement. And he tries to school us. The responsibility of the Minister of Energy is not to connect megawatts to the grid. I'm stating that as a fact. Duh. Boy, the condescending attitude, acting as if we're all ignorant pepper farmers that have never done anything in our life. Nothing against pepper farmers, by the way. The condescending arrogance of this asshat. Now, last year, he made comments saying that people were agitating for the overthrow of the state, that Eskom. Now, this was a clear dagger at the heart of the CEO, Andre de Ruyter, who has since survived an assassination attempt at the Eskom headquarters in Sunninghill when he was poisoned with cyanide on December 12th of 2022. His life has been threatened. His family's been threatened. He's been spied on by the state, putting listening bugs in his home and his vehicles. He found them. And they don't implement the changes he's asked for by putting a corrupt board in there. The ANC is just a racketeering organization that seeks the destruction of the country, or all they can steal until it collapses around them, accusing Eskom of agitating for the overthrow of the state. No, maybe you mean the overthrow of the ANC. The ANC is not the state, and that's a problem in South Africa. Lutuli House is not South Africa. The ANC is not South Africa. You are but one political party, but you rule as if you own South Africa, and that's the problem. And this is where he turns on the journalists. Now, see, that's a problem of a journalist who wants to treat himself as a court. So raise your right hand and say, so help me God. Seriously, we're supposed to take this person legitimately as a minister? That's how he addresses a journalist? It was a legitimate question the guy asked, or the gal. I wasn't there. Now, as I said, he accepted that the ANC had some responsibility for the condition of Eskom, but he also accused supporters of the opposition parties of wanting load shedding to continue in order to gain power. So the mere fact that they wanted to continue, let's assume that it's a true statement. Let's assume it's true. The supporters of opposition parties want no power, so the ANC is out. Okay, how does that make it come true? Does their telekinetic energy shut down generators? Does it mothball coal-fired power plants? Does it lead to an management of the Kuberg nuclear facility? Does it? No, it doesn't. He says, and I can tell you now, if this thing persists, if it can't be addressed, it's going to be a major factor in the 2024 elections. And I know that many of the supporters of some opposition parties wish that it persists because it will give them power. No, Gwede, Mantashe, South Africans want electricity to turn on their stoves, to heat their homes, to run the aircon, to run the factories, to lift the escalators in the mines, to pump fresh air into the mines, to pump water out of the mines, to run the robots, to run their internet, to run their mobile networks. That's what they want electricity for, not to take power. Your party is dead man walking. The African National Congress will not get 50% in the national election in 2024. Let me just tell you that right now. They'll be lucky to get 40%. You have destroyed this country. You were handed the best gem on the continent. And your race hustling, your racism, your ignorance, your arrogance, your kleptocracy, and your disdain for the rule of law has led us to where we are today in 2023. Well, Shaggy said it best. It wasn't me. And Gwede Mantashe says it wasn't me, despite being the minister for years now. Stop it. Foot sec. Foot sec. Enough of this nonsense. Well, folks, if you're not a subscriber, why don't you become one? Follow us right here. Hit the button down there and join us. And feel free to leave a comment behind. Take care.